During the week of October 28th through November 1st, Mrs. Ballard's Spanish 2 class got the opportunity to make their own ofrendas celebrating the life of a famous deceased Spanish icon.
This week we are doing a lot of preparation for Dia de los Muertos, which is happening. It kind of starts October 31st, but our main days are November 1st and 2nd. And so students spent last week investigating famous deceased Hispanics, and they are creating an ofrenda, which is an altar, and they are creating an ofrenda that represents that person. So you have to be able to look at the ofrenda and look at it and see, you can tell everything about that person. Like, what were their favorite things? What were their roles, their responsibilities? What were they passionate about?
In order to successfully complete the ofrenda, students were required to have certain components that would all be found on traditional ofrendas.
We have to have candles, a arc to show like the passing, the transition between life and death with flowers on it, and you need to have skulls and a pan el dia, which is like bread of the dead.
At the beginning of the week, the students were each given a list of famous artists, YouTubers, athletes, dictators, and more. They chose their top 3, and then one by one, they went up and chose their top picks.
Talia, she had cancer and died. She was like a YouTube sensation and like showed her skills off with makeup.
Fidel Castro is a pretty well-known dictator in Cuba. For quite a while, he was known a lot for being a dictator and not being the most well-liked guy.
One of the main focuses during Day of the Dead are the various skulls placed in and outside the ofrendas. They are painted with bright colors and help represent and celebrate deceased ancestors.
A calavera, which is a skull, and oftentimes the whole thing is that they're not supposed to be scary, and that's the biggest misconception with Day of the Dead, is that people confuse it with Halloween because of this skull presence, and it's not that at all. You might have noticed the skulls that are involved in the ofrendas have bright colors on them, and so the whole idea with the calavera is just to kind of bring the life back to the death and kind of remind us that, you know, we all have lives to live and celebrate, and even though death can be sad, it's a part of this natural life process, and let's honor the life that was lived in joy and in happiness and in celebration.
These vibrant and colorful ofrendas will be on display in room 160 and can be seen with or without the lights on. Signing off of the MWHS Wildcat News, this has been Annalise Smalley and Chloe Parker. Adios!